guys, Lemmy here. Welcome back to another art video. Today is something really special, and I received a message from Winsor & Newton asking me to review their Promarkers and their brush markers. And of course, like any person that would be excited about getting markers, I was like, yes, okay, I'll do it. So here we have what Winsor & Newton has sent me. Now, first of all, I said yes excitedly about this because I absolutely love the Winsor & Newton brand. Now, previously, Promarkers, if you've kind of known anything about markers or heard the name ProMarker, you might associate it with Lemiacrescent. So what has happened is that they're rebranded as Winsor & Newton Promarkers and Brushmarkers. And I absolutely love Winsor & Newton products. I adore their watercolors. I use their watercolors in my artwork. So I am thrilled with the brand, so I said, like, sure, I'll review these. Now, you know I love Winsor & Newton, but I already told the guy, the very nice guy that contacted me, that if I do not feel that these are a good product, then I am not going to even, I guess, post this video, or I'll give them the option of posting the video if it's a negative one. So, I'm not being paid to tell you to buy these. I am certainly not being paid to even make this video. I just got some markers out of it to try them out for you guys. And yeah, so with that being said, we're going to kind of look into this more. Now, I've already taken this whole thing apart and I've made a swatch pad here, and you can see that all the colors that they have given me are very much pastel colors, and several combinations are extremely similar looking, like the Y217 and the Y129. They're very similar down here, and the violets up here are extremely similar. So I'm going to take this as a challenge. They did send me a blender brush marker, so I have that, and I'm going to try to make a picture. Now, it's not going to look like there's a lot of depth in the picture, I'm sure, because if you don't have anything darker, you have all pastels, it's going to be very difficult to achieve depth. But this is the color, or picture, rather, that I'm going to be coloring. So it's going to be a cutesy picture, and I created this picture specifically because I thought it would be really cute with these pastel colors. So I created the picture around the colors that I have received. So I have looked up some information because the company hasn't given me any information on it, and this is what their website says. It says that the Promarkers here are 148 intensely vibrant to subtle pastels. They are blend friendly with malleable alcohol-based translucent ink, twin tipped with a broad chisel nib and a fine bullet nib, high quality nibs for consistent streak-free coverage, skillfully versatile. It can be used on ink-resistant surfaces like acetate, glass, plastic, and wood, which we are not going to be testing today because I am extremely particular about keeping my markers in pristine condition. So if you want to look into that, I suggest you look for a craft channel, because the crafters really like to color on things like metal, and I'm scared to do that. So yeah, we're not going to be trying that, but what I am most interested in actually is the streak-free coverage that they say here, because I have never really used a bullet tip or a chisel nib, and there's just something about it that makes me nervous that it's going to be streaky, and I don't have any experience. So I'm going to let you guys know how easy that is to use as a beginner myself. And yeah, and I'll let you know if it's streaky, because if it's streaky, that might create problems in your artwork. So that's the Promarker. This is just the pastel tones set of 6 pieces. And then on the back it says, Promarker is the perfect introduction to coloring with alcohol-based markers. Its fine and broad nips make it easy to fill in large areas of color before adding finer detail. And the non-toxic alcohol-based inks provide smooth, flawless color laydown every time, ideal for all types of art and craft, including illustration, manga, scrapbooking, ... So alcohol-based is really good. You shouldn't be getting streaks if it's alcohol-based. It dries really quickly because it's made with alcohol. The colors are buttercup, soft peach, pale pink, lavender, cool aqua, and meadow green. So there you have it. Those are the Promarkers. So we're going to move on to the brush markers. And the brush markers are essentially the Promarker, like the Promarkers ink, inside a different casing. You get this really nice brush tip, and when I created the swatch pad, it laid down the color really nicely. Yeah, I have no problems with that. It's a really nice nib. And yeah, it's the same colors, just a different presentation you have here. And also, one thing that's cool is that they have this little bump right here, so that when you lay down your marker, it doesn't like roll off the table. That's like a really nice thing to have, because I have a lot of stuff on my desk and it is just rolling all over the place and falling everywhere. Then my cat thinks he can push it off the desk and it's just a pain. So props for adding this little stubby thing right here. That's really helpful. And also you can see on the bottom here there is a sticker that tells you the color and if it's a brush or just a normal Promarker. So you can kind of store them horizontally and then see which is which when you're trying to grab at them, which is helpful. So those are pluses. Now I will say that they're not refillable, which is a reason why I don't own many marker brands, and that's because I just really like refilling my stuff because I feel so guilty. If you're going to spend so much money on a marker and then like throw it out, I just feel incredibly guilty. But I mean, that's just me being really picky. If the marker is really nice, I guess it doesn't matter so much, but yeah, I wish more companies would get into refilling their markers. So maybe that's something that Winsor & Newton could think about doing, because that would just be super helpful. Like, you don't want to throw away your watercolor palette if you've used all your color. You just keep the little bed there, then you buy a tube and you fill up the little container. So I don't like throwing things away. I like keeping them forever. Anyways, so I'm going to read what the brush marker says. It is 72 color ranging from subtle pastels to bold, vibrant hues. So basically same colors as the Promarker, just in a different casing. Now there are 72 out of the 148, so I'm hoping that they will recreate all the colors of the Promarker into the brush markers, because personally, I'm sure I would rather have the brush marker, just because I really love the brush tip. And I have tried them over here, so I do really like the brush tip over the bullet nib, but we'll see how I can color with that. We'll try it out. We'll see. Blend friendly with malleable alcohol-based translucent ink, twin tipped with a broad chisel nib and brush nib. High quality nibs for print quality streak-free coverage. So I'm sure these will be streak-free. I'm sure they will be. I will be looking into it. You'll hear from me if they aren't, but I'm sure they will be. And from looking at the swatch, they are print quality. They're very nice ink colors, and we'll see what we can do with them, but this is a limited palette, so we'll try our best. My main concern is seeing if these streak the Promarker streak, because if all of their colors are the Promarkers and only 72 of them are the brush marker, then, and if you really don't like that, or if they're streaky or something, then you have a limited or a more limited selection of colors if you're just going to purchase the brush marker. So that's what I'm going to be looking into, and we're going to be getting started like right now. Also, big thanks to Winsor & Newton for sending me these. That was really sweet of you guys. So here you'll see that I'm coloring my character Win, and I made this drawing especially for the colors that I received because they're very pastel. So when I look at pastels, I always think of rabbits, which is, I guess, not very original, but another character in my little story calls Win Rabbit. So I was like, hey, I'll do Win with rabbits. So that's kind of my idea for this picture here. And like I said earlier, I didn't have any darker colors, so depth would be difficult to achieve in this picture. I also, well, the darker colors that I did receive were grays. So there was a warm gray and a cool gray. And grays really kind of suck the color out of a picture. And if I'm making a pastel picture, that could be very dangerous to do. So I didn't really use the grays too much in this picture, though I will say I used the cool gray because it was the darkest that I had in the shadow beneath her, and I used the warm gray for the whites of her eyes. But I really tried to stay away from using too much gray because I didn't really want to mask the pleasant pastel colors that I received. And what I really like about the colors that I did receive was that they were pastel, because I feel like a lot of marker brands, it's really easy to make something very vibrant and will really pop, but it's about how can you dilute those colors and make pastels of pleasant colors that you can use. Because if you're opening up a brand of markers, you know, people's skin colors aren't bright pink, they're not bright purple, bright blue. You want to have a whole slew of almost pastel colors for the skin to kind of build up color, where you would want to put like maybe some greens or blues for cooler shadows, and then maybe some like purples for a little bit of a warmer shadow, or like some reds to show where there's a lot of blood close to the surface of the skin. And like there's a lot of different things that go into coloring skin. So when you get a pack of primary colors, like a rainbow with like secondary colors and all that stuff, it's just kind of like really in your face. But I really like the pastel colors that I did receive from Winsor & Newton, and I really like to blend them together. So you'll see that in this picture I do a lot of blending. Win has a teal hair color. I do not have a teal color out of a marker, so what I did was I took the blue and I would mix in the green, and I would also mix in different yellows because I have 2 yellows, and I would get a lot of slight variations within the colors because they would mix together and create more pretty colors, but it doesn't all look like the same uniform hair color because that's not what I wanted. And I used a little bit of violet just for the very darkest parts of the shading. And the coloring is very simple in this video because I do not have a lot of different colors available, and they're all pastel, so it's very, very simple, but you get these nice little variations, like very subtle variations in color along the picture. And I did my best to kind of mix them together to see if I could get new colors. And in the dress, you'll see that I color the dress pink, and then I go over it with a yellow. So then it looks more like a warm yellow than either a pink or a yellow. So it's kind of like an in-between. It's like a really nice peachy color. So they do mix together, and you do get pretty colors when you mix them. So another thing to point out is that you can layer them. So if you go over the same area a few times with the same color, it will be a little bit more full of color than if you were just to go over it once. So you can kind of build up color that way. But when they said that these are streak-free, like they really mean streak-free. I use the bullet tip and the chisel tip to do the hair, and everything just blended together, so there is absolutely no streaking. And I normally hate using chisel tips, but like these are my favorite that I've ever used with any marker. Of the chisel tips, they worked really well. So no streaking, absolutely no streaking. But because they blend together so well and do not create any streaks, it was difficult to kind of build up texture. You can build up colors and everything, but like they blend together so beautifully that it's really hard to create textures, which I like to put some texture into my work, but everything was just really blendy and it was really beautiful. So I don't necessarily think that that's a drawback, because if you want texture, normally what you would do is just go over it with like a color pencil or something and make it into a mixed media picture, just to add a little bit of texture to the clothing or something like that. So it's not even that much of an issue. I think it's more important that you have a nice blend with a marker rather than be able to make texture, because I guess if you're able to make texture, then you might be able to make streaks, because I guess kind of like streaks are texture. So yeah, really nice blending, like I swear, like the inks just worked really nice together and created a really solid, smooth picture, and it just looks really nice. Like I said, the only thing that I'm not a fan of is that you can't refill them, but I mean, that's not even really a problem. It's just, you know, a personal preference. I hope that they consider doing that in the future, but I really love these markers, and if I get some more somehow, I would definitely love to have them. I mean, it's a great product. So yeah, Winsor and Newton Promarker and Brushmarker. And yeah, I hope that they make more colors in the brush marker though, because I think that the brush markers are kind of the way to go with markers nowadays. The brushes weren't always available, but now that they are, it seems like a lot of people are gravitating towards that. So I hope that they convert more pro markers to brush markers with the colors, because that would seem to me like be like a good idea, you know? You know? And yeah. So that's about all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you think of the pictures, or if you've ever used Winsor & Newton Pro Markers or brush markers. Tell me what you guys think. And also, if you use the Lemiacrescent and then you use the Winsor & Newton, I want to hear your opinions. Like, if it's the same colors, like, I want to know if there's like any difference that you guys have noticed. But the Winsor & Newton ones, I will say for sure, I really love them. They're like really good. Lemiacrescent I've never used, but I hear it's the same thing. So let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear. So I hope that you guys found this review interesting, and yeah. Thank you so much to Winsor & Newton for sending me these. I really enjoyed them, and it was fun to work with them and try something new. So I'll talk to you guys next week for another art video, and yeah, take care. Bye guys!